3, 2, 1, let's go! What is up, Superhero Crypto Ninja family? Bringing you another video with my guest Crypto Sage. This week we'll be talking about, let's just kick it off so that people get interested right away, which is the key in YouTube. So Celsius, what's going on with Celsius? So I covered this right when it happened. I think 30 minutes after it happened. Crypto Sage, you also sent me a message, and it was pretty good. We covered it right on time, and I saw the video got a shitload of views, so that was cool. One of my questions I have for you, so most people already know what's going on, so we won't really talk about everything, but what are your thoughts on, like, imagine you're running this company, right? Imagine you're this guy, Alex, whatever his last name is, Machensky or whatever. How long ago would you know that this was about to happen, do you think? Like, it's not something that would happen all of a sudden, right? So like when imagine you're in like the board meetings and stuff like that, you must know about this weeks, if not months ahead of time, right?
I imagine that they have like this may not be a surprise, that there may have just been a threshold, and this might have been known from the inception, possibly. Was to say, if it gets to like this point, like the liquidity or the that maybe they're collateral, or maybe they lent out, whatever it is, but if we get to this ratio, then this is a like the danger zone ratio. So I think they would have known it well in advance, but I don't think that any company, having known something like this, would ever really say, hey, you know what, we're only good in this range, and then you might lose your money.
Yeah, that's true. So I think everyone can agree that lots of trust has been lost whenever something like this happens. So one of the thoughts is that when they open up withdrawals, it'll surely be a bank run, unless they set some sort of like withdrawal percentage daily limit or something like that, which would be smart. I think what everybody knows also is that they're trying their best to become liquid by selling their ST ETH. So it's not like, I don't think all hope is gone. I honestly don't think that everyone's going to lose any money in this. I think they'll definitely be able to recover the funds. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's wild. I never used to think that, that we could lose money in something that seemed to have like this megalithic, like stronghold, like anchor, right?
Over 1 million people, right? That's crazy.
Yeah. So, it's hard to say, because we don't know, like, it's not super transparent really, right? What's happening in the background. Like, is this really just like this surface level experience of liquidity due to market conditions? Has there been also maybe like a run on them, either insider or outsider, where they actually maybe lost some money, and information like that might not also be readily shared. So yeah, it's very interesting. I think that as long as you don't have the money, then you don't have it, right? So you got to kind of like play with it like it's at risk. But I think that for the most part, this is teaching us a big lesson about like how to, like, and then we were going to talk about this later too, how to and where to store our value, like the value that we generated, our savings, our wealth. How do we store it? Because it seems like these things that we could rely on quite readily are now seeming like very actually risky propositions.
Yeah, so it's so weird that you think of how they actually earn everybody interest. It's like they lend it to one platform, they take that out and then take that loan and lend it to another one, and then I think they use like 3 or 4 different methods. But one of the things that they use is a platform called Maker, I guess. And so they have a liquidation value on Maker of, right now it's at 16,800. So if Bitcoin hits 16,800, they get liquidated. I think they have about 500 plus million, if I'm not mistaken, on Maker. So not all of their money is on Maker, but a huge chunk of it is. So, I mean, Bitcoin right now is sitting at 21,500 approximately. And so 16,000 is definitely a possibility. And so it looks like what they're doing based on the on-chain data is they're adding about 1,000 to 2,000 Bitcoin as collateral every single day or two on average, just to lower that liquidation price. Because there's definitely a bunch of experts out there calling for lower than 16K. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, it must be very nerve wracking as a huge, like, I think at one point they were like over almost like $30 billion. I could be wrong, $30 to $50 billion company. So anyways, one of the questions is Blockfi or Voyager next? I guess they also give a lot of interest. And so I think I saw an email from Voyager. I had signed up for them, but I don't use them. Basically covering all the points, like saying that we are not at all like Celsius. And so they did a great job. How do you think that Celsius handled their communication? I think they went pretty silent off of Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, I think I only really, again, I didn't go digging deep into it. I only saw their main kind of post of, them halting the withdrawals. It's very scary. In fact, like, I mean, like, I wonder if it would have been more trustworthy, but for them to kind of like incrementally say like, hey, you know what, and to allow some of the bank run, so to speak, to happen, instead of just like, whoop, because that seems just like a very DeFi-ish, degen kind of move.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, who knows? Like, I mean, when you think you're such a big company, you think you would have a professional PR person to handle situations like this. And I personally don't think it was handled the best, but it's just so crazy that like one tweet and then 1+ million people get affected and like lives are fucking ruined and like, or not ruined, but I mean like stress is created. Like you have to think of like all the collective energetic stress of 1 million people wondering what's going to happen to their money, right? And this guy, the head of it all, can't even fucking tweet a couple more tweets just to make sure everyone feels okay. Yeah, I think they handled it pretty poorly. All right, on to the next one. It's too bad I didn't have any money in Celsius, but it's crazy. I did a YouTube search on how many people were shouting out Celsius, like huge influencers on YouTube, and I can see why it grew so fast. But anyways, I think a huge lesson for the next 5 to 10 years, we'll all have this in our mind, so we're all just learning along the way. Next up, we have Google engineer claims AI program has gone sentient. Boris, or Crypto Sage, you had sent me this this article. What do you think about that? Sentient AI.
Yeah, very interesting. I guess, I mean, like, again, like sentient is just a label, right? And we know like labels just comes down to your own individual kind of like assessment. So he offered this idea and he was basically like sent home to not be at work anymore.
Well, when you first sent me this article, I thought that some sort of robot had become sentient, but it's just a chat bot, right? Some sort of chat. Yeah, some sort of chat program. Okay. Do you know exactly what happened?
Apart from him just like interacting with this chatbot, like his job was to determine whether or not this chatbot like is going to like avoid hate speech and like the discriminatory like language and things like this. And in his testing of it and interaction with it, he had this thing, But like, again, who knows? Is that like a PR article, dropped by Google? Is that like a real thing? And what does sentient mean really in that context?
But that's fascinating, right? To imagine even just the start of not even a robot, but a chat box or a chatbot. We all know we've interacted with chatbots. We've looked at a couple like mental health companies that allow you to talk to quote unquote as close to a sentient as being as possible that understands your feelings, etc., to help you feel better. So yeah, you're right. What does sentient actually mean? Like, does it have its own thoughts that are not programmed into the AI? That would be very interesting. But that also seems very natural, right? You program an AI with enough if thens, and then eventually, like when you have 1 million of them, you're going to have an outcome that you probably weren't predicting.
Yeah. It's designed to be essentially like, it's like a random number generator, right? In some sense. And it's like, but it's got like a logic to it. So it is choosing them according to the patterns. And it can take a pattern and it can apply a pattern in a way that has not been applied, let's say, by us or within our culture or within our like social structures. and it can come up with different things to say, and different ways of like thinking. But is it thinking? And then also about thinking itself, it's like there's also this metaphysical understanding that we're actually being like served our thoughts, that these thoughts are also not new thoughts. They're not like original, that we are. And this is why it happens so with inventions, for example. Like there's so many of these examples that like, because inventions are supposed to be like this original thought. It's like, wow, I just like created this. But very often there's a book even about this. I don't remember its title, but this book goes over like how inventions have happened simultaneously, like in Germany and Italy, in like this place and that place, from one person and another. And sometimes, a multitude of people catch an idea, and so does that make us sentient, or is it actually like our self-awareness, that sense of like what I am, right? What the I of our being is. And I don't know, it would be interesting to see, like, I didn't go deep into what his experience of the sentience was, but then we have examples like Sophia, right? Remember we saw that at the Transformational Tech. She's been traveling around the world and going on TED Talk and seemingly kind of like, modeling sentience.
Yeah. I guess one question would be like, how do you input morality into AI, if that's even a thing, right? Like, because morality is such a subjective thing. Like the worst thing that could happen is you talk to this Google chatbot and you're like, I need help. And it's like, fuck you, go kill yourself. Because it's like gathered enough information about you that it decides you're not worthy of living, Hopefully that's not like the base program is like, I don't know, start with the Christian like morals or something like that. Just test it out.
Yeah. It's very interesting. Like it's hard to really embrace this in one conversation, because there's so many opposing viewpoints. Like there's also this viewpoint, you brought up Christian, right? But there's also this viewpoint that what AI is like this like energy of chaos. It is like this like random number generator thing that gains intelligence, and then essentially embodies what the Christians would call like satanic or demonic, that which has no respect for life, true life being biological life, like the life that's emerging with consciousness. And we think that the other one doesn't really have consciousness. We think it's an empty shell. But there is a conversation in the kind of like spiritual kind of like community that is also like this, like in the world spiritual communities that are saying like this AI is going to be the embodiment of like this kind of like basically anti-life energy, and they feel like it's very dangerous. And like all of those different like Armageddon movies that we see about them, the AI taking over, is that thread, of thinking and assessing the situation.
Yeah, one of the things that just came to mind was I remember reading about some AI stuff. Basically, you could take an artist, like a famous artist, think of 50 Cent or some sort of rock artist like Pink Floyd, and you could input every single one of their albums into this thing, and then it would create one song that was basically the essence of everything that they've ever done. And so I can imagine like taking a spiritual leader, let's say Bentino Massaro or
Sadhguru,
Sadhguru or whoever it is, and then having this what do they call them, deep fakes, that basically imparts wisdom to you in the most potent way possible based on all its past information. So I think there would be just like the battle of good bots and bad bots.
It's just like the rest of this world. There's always going to be this duality. Yeah.
All right, we went a little bit off crypto topic, but that's cool. I think a lot of more of these conversations will be technology focused, and Crypto Sage and I obviously love the future and seeing what the implications of AI are. So we'll have a few more conversations like that in the future. Next up, we have Coinbase slashes 18% of their staff, which equates to about just over 1,100 employees. I think they had close to like 5,000 employees or something like that. So this is all like out of my world, where you don't even think of like crypto as, you almost think of crypto as you associate with decentralization, and you don't realize that there's like huge companies that have thousands of staff already, right? Yeah, laying off 1,100 people is kind of sucks, but I think this actually excites me. We all know that this happens in bear markets, that the shit projects are cut and people have to just optimize and streamline their cash flow, which is not an easy thing to do when you're a company, knowing where to allocate money. So, yeah, I don't know what else more to say there, but I'm assuming it's not just Coinbase. Coinbase is one of the bigger companies, but even the small companies, I'm sure a lot of them have like fired their VA staff, and basically everybody just sitting tight on this market.
Yeah. I mean, Coinbase had some other bad news, right? Like earlier this week, or when was it, on the weekend? Didn't Coinbase have one of the most dramatic falls in their stock price? Like their stock price is down like 80%, I think, from just a few months ago.
Yeah, it's been tumbling for the last couple of months. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it sucks. I mean, Coinbase is having a rough time. So it kind of makes sense that they are having to cut their employees.
Yeah, one thing I'll say about Coinbase, and a lot of people know this, is that every time the Bitcoin price like goes really down really quick, they seem to have like app issues, and basically nobody can trade or whatever. So nobody likes them for that reason, or not a lot of people like them for that reason. So we'll see where they go.
Also seem to have like the highest fees, right? Like,
yeah,
definitely among the highest fees. So I've never used Coinbase.
Yeah, I feel like they're like the core like centralized thing of all of crypto. It's like Coinbase, but it feels safe, but at the same time, it's not. So. All right, next up we have Tron Dao adds $500 million more, I think $500 or $600 million, to help stabilize their USDD Peg. So their USDD Peg fell off, so it's supposed to be $1. I think it would drop to like 97 cents at one point, which isn't nearly as bad as USD, whatever, UST.
UST.
But looks like he's adding a shitload of money. I think right now they have $2 billion in $2.5 billion in a defense fund to prevent people from shorting the market. So it seems quite big, but at the same time, anybody with more than $2.5 billion could probably fuck you up. So it's like the power game, let the power games begin, and the manipulation has, I don't know how you're going to overcome this kind of stuff, or maybe just stable coins aren't supposed to be there.
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. Yeah, I mean, I saw that today that there's just an article that came out that they're voting to deploy the whole 2 billion.
Is the peg still down? Is it still not $1? Shit. Wonder how much.
Looks like not. This came out at 3 hours ago.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Anyway, but what is the? Yeah, it seems like okay. Yeah, so these stable coins is pretty tough. But it's like, what is going to be like the base? Like, what do you trade off of?
You know, I feel like this is all just a scam, to be honest. I don't know if there's that much. Like, can you think of one person that would have their money in USDD right now? like an average sane crypto person, do you think anybody put their money in USDD? Maybe this is all just like manipulation, and like when you see numbers like, oh my god, we have like 500 million or $2 billion locked up. I don't know about that. Who the fuck is dumb enough to lock their money at this point in the market, right? Any logical, like, unless you're completely removed from anything crypto and you randomly found this small thing called USDD, right? What do you think?
Well, I think that this is, remember, like, people are fanatics, right? Like, we're not just like rational. We're also like, we align with something that we like, and we are like,
Tron?
Cool. Tron has a very strong and big community. It actually does. Yeah, the Tron network. And there are people who are like Tronies, you know?
Yeah, basically. Go Tron. They're like Twitter profile pictures are like girls with big tits. They're all bots. I just think this is all fake. I don't know. Like, yeah, you're right. People aren't rational, but like, how deep does the wound have to cut before you fucking wake up, you know?
But think back to like all of the other ones, like Wonderland. Like there's been so many. There's been also like literal rug pulls. There's been like slow rug pulls. There's been all kinds of things, and then people just go into the next project, you know? So, and I think that's the nature of human experience, is that we keep on hoping that in this next one, it will be
I can
fulfilled,
see that, especially
or it
when
will be
there's
redeemed from the previous ones.
yeah, especially when there's PR news saying, "Oh my God, they have $2.5 billion in like like a backup reserve fund. Nothing bad can happen. At least I'll make 30% real quick."
Each one of these has their own like marketing like campaign, right? It's like this one is like, oh, we have these mechanisms, so it will not be peg. It's over collateralized. We have this and this and this, and it's not like anything else. And people are like, oh, this and 30%. I mean, even I was tempted. I'm like, man, so seems pretty good. They're doing so hard to, because there's no other crypto, there's no other asset except these stable coins where somebody is behind it and like supposedly, at the very least, supposedly is working to keep it at what it is. There's no other crypto. Everything else just goes blah, 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 blah. But here, there's a fund to back this up, to keep its price up. It makes it feel very safe. Safu.
Yeah. Back to what we were talking about last week, which is safety versus like freedom, right?
That's right.
Yeah, people just want to feel safe, and if it's some Asian guy, young kid that nobody knows that likes to swear a lot and insult people from Asia, and he releases good PR, it's a safe bet, I guess. All right, next up we have how do we actually make money in this bear market, Mr. Sage? $21,000. You know what? Before we end with this, because I know this might be a cool little segment that you're about to show us, let's make some bold predictions. What do you think the Bitcoin bottom's going to be in this bear market? You can feel free to go first, or I can kind of make a random guess.
Yeah, I can go first. Like for me, seeing how fast it's fallen here, like from 30 to 40 or to 20, I feel like it's going to go more. I think we're maybe just have another little moment here, and it's gonna probably dip down, probably down there. Like the number that's coming to me maybe is 11, maybe down there. If we're going beyond that, then I really think there could be like a concerted effort to actually like just shake up this whole alt wealth community, which crypto is, because I think that, there is, interest and benefit to shaking people out of crypto, because I do feel like there's a centralized digital currency that's going to be coming around, and it's going to really appear as the safe haven. So to me, all of these experiences really make sense to, for it to go down further and further.
Mm-hmm. And time frame?
Time frame, I would say probably here between now and Q4. I would say that we're probably going to hit the bottom. And I don't know exactly where we're going to be through the winter. It's going to be multiple winters stacked together.
Interesting. Yeah. And again, my that's a good prediction. I can agree with. I can see that unfolding. My prediction is obviously based on everything that I've watched and learned so far, but I think anywhere between 7 to 12,000 might be the low. I know that's quite a range, but you're right. Anything below like 12,000 or 11,000, people are going to get very scared, because to be honest, we haven't, like, according to a lot of the analysts, we haven't really hit a low that was lower than the previous cycle's high, which means that was 19,000, I think. So once we drop below 19, there's going to be a little panic, and I think we're going to capitulate to like 12 or 11, whatever that is, and I can see us going lower too. I'm just really excited about this because this is all evolution. I don't see this as a bad thing.
Yeah.
All right. So, and my time frame would be about 2 years. I'm hoping it's shorter, but
you think that it's going to bleed out over 2 years?
I don't see why. I don't see how it cannot. Just based on like the economy. Like it's going to be a while before the Fed starts printing money. And when you think about the rise in crypto, it's only because the Fed has been printing money. It's not like people created all this wealth randomly, So,
yeah.
Just quick word on the DCA strategy. If you guys are curious, it's a very smart, logical thing to do. Again, make a prediction where you think the range of the low is going to be. I think it's anywhere from now to all the way to 7,000. And then think about your time frame. Again, nobody knows, but think about like maybe the worst case scenario. So let's say in my case, it's 2 years. So take 2 years, which is 24 months. Take your whatever you have sitting on the sidelines and then divide it by 24. And then every month you can start to DCA in that specific amount, because nobody's ever going to catch the low. And even if now is part of the low, even if it lasts for like another 6 months to 2 years, at least you will have DCA'd in, and at least you will have a mentally sane strategy, so you know you're sticking to a plan. And then we're gonna come. If we don't come out of this in 2 years, then it's okay. You were wrong. At least you have DCA'd in slowly, but rather than lumping all your money in now, thinking we've hit the bottom, because you're not gonna be able to time. Do you have anything to add to that DCA strategy?
Be careful. People were DCAing into Luna too, right? Like, so you can DCA right into the bottom. So really make sure that the coins that you're choosing to work with, you really have a strong, faith in. And remember that, like, again, this is pure, again, conjecture. There is no such thing as Bitcoin. And so we are really working with an idea, not any kind of like literal asset. So as you're doing this, and I have totally also, like, my sense is that crypto is certainly going to come back up, but that's no guarantee. And it doesn't matter who says it, how many people say it. So I would just say, like, hold that to know that this is you taking a risk to create a bigger possible return and reward, but also keep in mind that don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, it's definitely true. I heard one story of the person that got wrecked, but crypto changes so fast. What was the previous one other than Celsius?
Are you talking about Luna?
Yeah, Luna. He had his entire retirement savings in there, and now he has to start work again at 65. Shit. Yeah.
I can see that, man. I could see it. To me, it was like the best like savings account. I'm like, this is a sure thing. So, just now, like, there are no sure things. And I would say that the safest thing probably, even though there is no real safety in here because everything keeps changing, is diversification.
Yeah.
Beyond diversification, with that, you're hedging your bets that at least something will stand. Without diversification, you're hedging your bet that like one thing will stand, which your chances are a lot smaller than.
Okay, speaking of diversification, so let's see how CryptoSage is diversifying part of his portfolio to make money in this bear market. So something known as prop firms. I'll let you take over here.
Okay, awesome. So on this channel, our goal is to help you to break free financially. So for this, we really need to think about like this aspect of diversification. Right now, as we can see with crypto, out of the bleeding market, there's still so many opportunities. So if you are a trader and you're learning how to long and short the market, I think that even though I spend a lot of time learning this already, I'm still nowhere near pro at like navigating this experience. But I do feel like it's such a valuable thing to learn to grok how to navigate the market, both up and down. But what I wanted to share with you is that there are ways to do this, even not risking your own money. So many of us, when we enter into this whole idea of trading, and even like, think about this, that there's many strategies that already kind of are pre-made, and they're pretty proven. They're proven in the sense that they have a positive win rate. They have built into it risk management so that you can say, okay, well, I'm only going to risk, if you risk only, less than 1% of your account on each trade, you would have to lose so much in a row for you to blow your account. But the reason we blow our accounts and that we don't succeed is we get this one moment where like, oh, I'm going to break my rule and I'm just going to go in because this is a sure thing. And sure enough, it will get you maybe one like that. It will light you up. You're going to be like, I got it. I can get around this. And then you're going to blow your account. So there are strategies that are already pre-made. So all you have to do is you have to just develop discipline and approach the market less emotionally and more just like a bot, more like with clear discipline, with like, okay, I'm doing this if this happens and only at this level of risk. So, but even beyond this, let's say that you are brand new, you don't have the discipline worked out. and you're like, okay, well, how much money am I going to put? Like $1,000. I'm going to play with it. I have done this. I've put in $1,000. I've put in $500. Just to play, but I still bleed out those accounts. So one way that I found is to be like super rewarding, because the potential behind it, so it makes it exciting. The potential behind it is great. I'll share that in a second. But at the same time, your risk is tiny. And these are called prop firms. So prop firms are essentially companies that fund you as a trader, even at the beginner level. Okay. But what I'm going to show you here is the approach that I would take and that I have taken. And that's to do an evaluation account at a prop firm. This means that you pay a small amount to do this evaluation, and we'll go over the rules together. But if you pass this, then you get their money to trade with, real money, and you will earn either from 75 all the way up to 85% of your profits, trading with not your own money, right? And your account amounts can be anywhere between like 5,000 all the way up to, I believe, like 300,000. And we're going to go over this in a second. I'll share my screen. Before I do that, anything, Mike, that's kind of coming to you as I'm sharing?
No, not really right now. Let's check it out.
Okay, cool. So I'll share my screen. I'll go over this. This particular prop firm is called My Forex Funds. So the way that this works is you trade on MetaTrader 4 or 5. You can do it right on your phone. It's super easy. And you can trade not only Forex, you can also trade crypto, the major cryptos like ETH, BTC. You can trade commodities, you can trade gold, silver, different things like this. Okay, so the way that this works is you essentially, this is what I would recommend, going for an evaluation account. And this is where you get a profit split of up to 85%, and we can go over the rules here together. So the rules are basically that you are required to get to a certain level of profitability within a particular time period. Okay, so we can see it. I think they're going to lay it out here. Yeah. So here it is. Basically, you're allowed a maximum drawdown of 5% a day. So that's the most you can lose a day. If you go beyond this, you will forfeit your evaluation account. So, and we'll go over how much it is to get into them, and there's different tiers. So maximum loss of 5% a day, and overall in a month. So you basically have a month to pass this evaluation account. So as soon as you go to as soon as you go to negative 12%, this is where you will, your account will also freeze, and you will have failed that evaluation. But if you just do this, so within the first month, within the first 30 days, you just gain 8%, you will have passed the first phase, and they will refund you your evaluation cost. Okay, and we'll go over those. It starts at, I believe, at like $49, but they'll refund you that in full. And then you have another phase. So after that, for the second month or however long it takes you, you have to get another 5% profitability. Okay, you have up to 60 days to complete this. And you have to trade, if you'd make one trade and it gets you like, whole 8%, and then another trade makes you 5%, they don't like that. They want you to keep trading. So they want you to have at least 5 days of trading within this 60-day period. And you can do anything. You can use signals, you can use bots, you can use your own strategies. There is no restriction, which is really, really cool, meaning that you can apply even automated strategies if you know how to work it. And this is something that we're also working on and developing. So this is essentially it. Does this make sense so far, Mike?
Yes. Can I interrupt you and just ask, so just remind us the name of this company again?
This is called My Forex Funds.
Okay, we'll link to it in the description below. Is there any competitors?
There are many. There are many competitors. There are many prop firms. And I want to tell you, not all prop firms will pay you. This is something that I found as I was researching it and talking to other people who have been doing this for longer. You will make stuff, but then they will say, oh, payout is withheld, or like it's delayed, or it's like whatever, tethered in some way. So it's really important that when you go for working with one of these, you do good background research, check out Trustpilot, talk to other people, try to find like Discord and other places where it's talked about. This is a good one. This one is known to pay out, no problem. They're very fair and honest. So this is just on a recommendation. I have not yet completed my own evaluation account, so I will update you as I go along.
Okay, so you mentioned it's starting at $50, and how much money do you get to play with?
So here it is. Basically, we have the smallest one is $50, and you get $5,000 as your account. And then over here, we can go up as high as 300,000. This is a limited time kind of thing that they're doing. They didn't used to have this tier. But this one, so basically the refundable registration fee is $1,300. This is the one that, and this is also a new one. This used to be the minimum. So here you can see for 49, you get 5,000, 84, 10,000, and on and on. So if you pass the 8%, you get this money back. So they're not going to charge you. And if you pass the rest, then they will actually then split the profit with you, and you can continue on. And every 2 weeks, they will pay you out the profits.
Can you explain those daily starting drawdowns and overall drawdowns real quick? Give us examples.
Yeah, drawdown means like, so I let's say that I risk 1% on a trade. I lose that one. And then I say, okay, I'm going to recover, and I try to risk 2%, and then I lose that. So if I end up losing 5% of my total balance, which is like whatever you start with, if you have a $5,000 account, then this is your 5%.
So you can only lose $250 out of your 5,000 per day. Otherwise, you hit the threshold, and they'll take your money.
You will forfeit your refundable registration fee, and you'll have to start over. And you can try as many times as you want on any of these accounts. And you can also create multiple accounts. You can, for example, let's say that we create 3 of these, and we put one on a strategy with crypto, let's say a crypto bot. One you trade yourself following, some strategy or some indicator. Another one you could use signals, and that way you can see which actually performs the best. And they totally allow you to do that. So whichever one you pass with, or if you pass with multiple, you will have those accounts active.
This is fascinating. This is so easy to understand, and it sounds like an amazing way to practice trading stocks or crypto or anything else that you want to trade. You said they have everything from crypto to stocks to Forex. Is that correct?
Forex, they have things like the aggregates like US30. They'll have gold. They have commodities. Yeah, and you can check it out by even creating a demo account. So here on this website, it will also show you how to tap into their demo account so that you can just see, what's available. What are the different things that are available? Okay,
I'm sure the audience wants us to do a challenge. So for maybe in the next week or two, what tier do you think we should both sign up for and see who can make a little bit more money?
Let's just do the 10K tier.
Okay.
This is I feel like a great practice one. Once you have a strategy where you can see like, oh, it passes, no problem. You can even go and apply for this one and do a challenge in this one. And if you have both of them, you can email them and you say, I want to combine my accounts. They will combine it for you into one account.
So let's do some quick math. So if we were to join the $10,000 one for $84, how much would we have to make? You said 8%, right, for the month in order to qualify for profits?
Yeah, so you would basically have to reach $800 within this 30 days. So 10,800, and that would do it.
And that could be done, not that this is a smart thing to do, but that could be done on one trade and then continue. You said they want you to continuously trade, so you could trade like $1 here and there.
At least five days, 5 calendar days of trading is what they're asking.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah. Very cool. I'm excited to start this. And so have you signed up and have you started it all?
Yeah, I actually did one. Unfortunately, I did it in the middle of traveling, and I was doing New York Open trading with a group, and I started to really that's 5 a.m. here on the West Coast. So I started to really fat finger it a lot. Literally, okay, I'll tell you, I failed that first challenge primarily because of I've never traded on MetaTrader before. So it's not that it's complicated, it's very simple, but it's different. And there, as soon as you press something, boom, it's done. It goes in, you know. So I've closed trades early. I have placed trade I didn't mean to. So the thing that I will say to you, just the easiest way to save any losses is just like take a breath, go slow. Don't try to like, just because you see like, oh my God, there's an opportunity. That's where I have just given away losses.
Sorry, you mentioned MetaTrader. That's a separate platform you have to sign up for in order to use this?
It's free. You can use it on, and you like, once you sign up for the account, they will give you a download link. There will be a specialized MetaTrader for my Forex funds. You can download that if you want to use it on your computer or on iOS devices or Android. You simply type in, there's 2 apps. One is called MetaTrader 4 and one is called MetaTrader 5. 5 is obviously the newer one. 4 is the legacy, but many traders prefer the 4. I've tried both of them. I think 5 is nicer.
And it runs on Windows and Mac?
Windows, Mac, and phones.
And so how long, so you sign up to this, how long before you have your $10,000 in the account?
Instantly.
Okay, and can you, how do you pay for the registration fee? You can use crypto?
You can use crypto or your credit cards, yeah.
Hey, wow. Very cool. I'd be curious to get maybe a list of like the top 3 platforms and maybe do a deep dive comparison. I don't know how old, do you know how old this company is?
This one's been around for a few years. This one is the one that I was recommended the most. So yeah, we can definitely explore. And there's other ones that even promise like 95% profit share, but yeah, I don't know. So we basically, yeah, we just got to make sure that they're legitimate. And they actually, what the legitimacy is that they literally pay people out on time and, you know, and don't come up with excuses. Most of that you'll find on Trustpilot. Can
we do some quick math just to wrap this up, unless there's anything else you want to share? But let's say, so we pay $84, we get $10,000 in our account. And the first month, let's say we make 8% profit, which you said is $800. How much of that do we actually make?
We will make, so it goes in tiers, I believe, and this is explained in the rules, but in the first month, I think you get 75. When you complete phase 2, they'll give you 80% of that 800 or whatever you're starting to make. And
so it starts at 75%?
75 is going to be for this like evaluation. I think month 1 is 75. Then 2 weeks later, if you're continuing, you're making good, it's going to be 80. And then the next one is 85, and then it stays at 85.
Wow, this seems like a no-brainer, especially if you're a consistent, profitable trader. So there must be a reason these things exist. What do you think is the reason for somebody to create a company like this? So
well, they're making money.
They make money from the losers, and they also make money from the winners, right?
Yeah. Well, when you are trading as, I think on these evaluation accounts, like they're not giving you real cash yet. So on these evaluation accounts, they're giving you... Oh,
that makes sense. So they're just trying to see how you trade. Okay, that makes more sense. Sorry.
Yeah, they're going to see how you trade. But from what I understand in the rules, like if you pass it, not only do they refund you, they will also give you your portion of your winnings. That will be as a payout.
And obviously you've confirmed that there's been people in your community that have received payouts.
Yes. Yeah. This is the main firm that everybody's using.
Wow, this is exciting. Is there anything else you want to share about this?
Just the next possibility. So one is like what we've talked about, but the next iteration of this is what we're working on in this community too, is how do we automate this? Can we set this up in such a way that it's meeting the criteria? First of all, can we create a bot that is going to be able to, within 30 days, stay within the rules and win 8%, and then continue on? Because if we can do that, then this is a big no-brainer, because
risk to reward, yes, amazing.
This is just a side income that you don't even have to pay attention to, and we can set up these automations on MetaTrader. Literally on MetaTrader, there's ways to do automatic trading, and as long as we got the right algorithms going, we're making money with somebody else's money and risking literally next to nothing.
Nice. So you're looking, your end goal is to bot this.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. All right. Any bot experts out there? What was that channel? The guy that backtests everything?
I love that guy. That guy is David Tech. So I'm actually looking at his. He's been really focusing in on a strategy called the ABC strategy. I'm really digging it a lot. Like I get what it's talking about. It's not complicated, and he's created a great indicator for this. Now, mind you, I don't know. No, actually, probably there is. I just don't know how to connect trading view signals with MetaTrader, but I'm sure there is a way.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a way.
Yeah.
Does it allow you to use leverage? And if so, how much?
Yeah, right here, 100 leverage.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and it's automatic. It's going to be 100 leverage built in. That's how it is.
All right, we're telling you guys to be safe, but I think I'm going to ape in degen on this and do 100 leverage trades. Look at the risk reward ratio. We could lose $50 all day.
Yeah.
I thought you said there was a, like, if you lose, you have to like sit in timeout for like a month. That would make more sense.
No, yeah, I thought so, because I was expecting that they would reach back out to me, but actually they just didn't. They just said, review your strategy before trying again. And that's about it. And then when I went back into my account, you just open a new evaluation and off you go.
Do you know where this company is based out of?
No, I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I didn't do the background research.
Okay, so interesting. Yeah, we should also look at any prop firms that have collapsed or have been scams in the past and just make sure. Because again, our number one goal is to make you money and keep you guys safe. So yeah, we can check that out as well. All right, anything else on this topic?
I think this is good. Just to introduce that this idea is there, the possibility is there. So if you have willingness to either learn, how to do it, or to come up and find strategies that are automated, there is a way literally for anybody who doesn't have necessarily money, who may be stuck in like a place where it's like, oh man, I'm just paycheck to paycheck. There is ways to break through that, even without you kind of like penny pinching and trying to put something away. But like here, you put in $50, you get $5,000 to trade with.
It's almost like a job, right? It's almost like the funnest job with a very low risk to reward application ratio. Like you put in $50 to apply for this job. And then if you can become good at the job, you have something that basically pays you.
Yeah, pays you ongoingly. Yeah. You just have to work out the strategy. Like that's it. That's like the strategy and the discipline. And the other thing I just want to say that here, we're not dependent on one market. Like we're not just dependent on the crypto market and trying to say, okay, well, I'm going to, we can play with Forex. We can play with like any currency, super high liquidity, things that are way more stable, more predictable, more slow moving. So, there's definitely, I just want to point that out, that there is alternative ways to apply the skills that we learned already in crypto to this kind of wider market.
Yeah. And I know it sounds easy to think that you can make 8% a month. But at the end of the day, for millions of people have tried it, many rich people have tried, and 8% a month is actually quite high. So definitely not free money. It'll require some patience, but I think it's a fun journey. If anything, you'll learn a bunch about your mental psychology and your trading style, and you'll just get familiar with how to trade. I think that's one of the benefits. For $50, why not?
Yeah.
All right, let's end with our sage wisdom of the day. Is there anything that you can think of to help our viewers, maybe not crypto related? Let's imagine that we were in their shoes right now. Be somebody who has their money stuck in Celsius or something like that.
Yeah. I always like to share here from the experiences that I'm going through. And I would say that the biggest piece of wisdom that I got to earn over these last few weeks, just in my own journey, is remembering that when we have a difficult emotion, like worry about Celsius, you got your money somewhere, you're not sure if USDD is going to get back to peg, or wherever, you're thinking about, maybe you put all your money in Bitcoin and now it's feeling like you're losing it. Very often, the first thing that's happening in our mind is this question: what do I do? This sense of needing to do something to stop the feeling, right? It's like, but really, if we slow down, what is happening in that moment is you're looking for a way to be free of the feeling. But if you realize, okay, actually, hold on, this is just a feeling. And it took very hard. It's very hard for me to realize this because I was going through a pretty intense crisis here. in my own personal life. But like, I had my brothers with me, and they're like, okay, just stay put, just feel this out. Don't let a good crisis go to waste. And what they meant is just learn to feel the feeling. And what I found is that it took me days. Like, I was feeling the feeling for days. And for days, my mind is like, do this, just do this, like just trying to find strategies. But as I stayed with it, I got so much wisdom, so much clarity. Because it's like, unless you're clear that there's a specific action to do, like it's obvious to you, like this is the thing. And if somebody is like preventing you from doing it, you're like, this, like, it just feels wrong. If you're not in that position of clarity and you're just in this kind of like space of uncertainty, like, oh, maybe I should do this or that or what, or like, what would I do? And you're trying to calculate it. All of that is happening in a very limited mind, in our ego mind, in our survival mind. And that mind doesn't know anything about abundance. It doesn't know anything about, wisdom or higher consciousness. It's just about like, this feeling is telling me I'm threatened. What do I do to stop it? So if we can just, I guess the advice that I want to share is, whatever's happening for you in the markets, whatever's happening for you in your personal life, and you have this urge that I must do something to change it, note it. Yeah, okay, got it. But let me just stay here with this feeling. Let me come to peace with where I am before I start to frantically try to change it, because I think like, oh, if something changes here and I'll feel better. Many times in those moments, you will make a move like, oh, I got to move from Celsius to, USDD, and you put it there and it's like, boom. And you typically will build fear on fear. So I want to kind of finish this up with a quote from Rumi. Rumi has this beautiful quote. He says, move, but don't move the way that fear makes you move. So this is, I feel like, the most important thing. So first, like, take a moment, digest the fear, and then move. Don't let the fear tell you how to move, because that's where all the FOMO, all of the bad mistakes, all of the stress-based fat fingering, and all kinds of things that you might do that will mess you up. So better just digest it, breathe, find your center, and then move more from inspiration.
Yeah, that's super beautiful. And Crypto Sage and I obviously believe in the spiritual realms just as much as the physical realms. And we will be starting another channel, which I will inform you guys about, where we can deeper dive in topics like death, love, relationship, sex, money, power, God, all these other topics besides crypto that are the majority and basis for your fundamental existence in life. So this is great advice, talking about whenever you feel this fear, and millions of people are right now with not knowing what to do, waiting on somebody's next tweet in order to make their next decision. Take some time, maybe just meditate and feel into it. You have nothing else to do. And in that space of meditation, that space of like infinite power that you can tap into, that abundance is what's going to manifest your next level in your life, not that fear state of what's going to be in the next, what's going to happen to me in the next day or 2 days or week or month. Am I going to have to find a new job? All this fear and worry is definitely not helping or attracting your next level of your life. So with that, thank you guys so much for your time. I know you guys are all ADD, and it takes a lot to keep your attention. So we will say goodbye and take care until next time. God bless.